Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to Live at 6:45. I am your host, Richard Struther. I am a technology coach, but for my next trick, I will lose 5 pounds purely by sweating because it's not, well, it's hot, but it's humid. I mean, like, just bring a bar of soap because, man, it's insane today. Um, so, welcome to those of you joining in. I'm going to talk about something very practical. It sounds very complicated. It isn't. It sounds very esoteric. It isn't. Oh, and you'll notice that I'm not wearing the mic today. I am doing this, as the young people say, ratchet. But thankfully, the environment is not too noisy, so you should be able to hear me just fine. And let me know if you don't, because it just hit me up in the comments. But here we go. The rule of appropriate perception. Ooh, sounds complex. It's not so bad. The rule of appropriate perception is, and I'm sure you all have that friend that bought the huge big screen TV and put it in the tiny little den, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're front row at the theater. Right? We don't want that. That's no good. So being front row at the theater is not the fun experience. Being front row at any theater or being too close to the stage is not necessarily a good thing. Being right in the pit of an orchestra, you're not going to hear everything clearly. So there's a sweet spot. There's the rule of appropriate perception. It's the reason that some people, and I know this for a fact, that some people much prefer to have a smaller screen like a notebook or an iPad closer to them than have a big screen TV across the room. So this is interesting because there are, when you're talking about projectors, they talk about throw. Don't worry, it's not nearly as nasty as it sounds. Throw is merely how big an image can I get with how much distance? How much distance do I need from the screen to get the... Now, there is such thing as short throws, and they have a wider cone, but they also have more corrective optics to make sure that the image looks correct. But again, if you're getting, and there are some really, really neat short throws that I've seen recently that are like, I'm not kidding, 11 inches. So a sheet of paper, right? A sheet of paper's distance, and you can get a 70-inch screen. That's insane. That's crazy. So I noticed that I'm getting a question here. After the perfect size for it, TV or computer screen? If I want to use both for both. I love this question. This is a fantastic question. So if I want to use a laptop, do I get a TV or a computer screen? So this is a fantastic question. Here's something that a lot of people don't know, and this is really cool. I'm going to do this. You can only see precision the size of your thumb at arm's length. You cannot see precision larger than that. Your eyes are designed to see precision in a small area. But we naturally have our eyes dart around. They're meant to do that. It's also part of how we were built to notice motion. We see out of our peripheral vision and we see motion, but we don't see clarity. So our eyes dart to whatever attracts our attention. This is why if you have a TV that's too big, you're constantly getting some motion somewhere and your eyes are darting too much. Or if an article is too wide and you have to read too much, it actually gets tiring. Reading can be tiring this way. It's really, really interesting, which is why we want to constrain the page, or if you have a larger page, you want to have it in columns so that your eye does more of this and less of this, because we tend to get lost somewhere along the way as to where the next line is and whatnot. It's much easier to track shorter bits. So these columns, that's why we do that. This is purely neuroscience, actually. It's really fantastic. The law is you want to conserve as much motion as possible. You want to make the motion the most efficient possible. So That's why even, like some of these web pages are designed for mobile. You can go wider onto a desktop, and they don't necessarily spread out too much. They limit the width, and they'll have a nice background or whatever, but they'll limit the width because they don't want the text going where you have to track all the way across the screen. It's not worth it. It's craziness. So, is it better to have a smaller screen closer in or a bigger screen further out? That's up to you. Thank you. I just got a comment. Super interesting. I love that. Thank you, Nick. I love that. Where the bigger screen further away is going to come into play is when you start dealing with more people, right? If it's just for you, and this also answers to Sabrina's question of do I get a TV or a computer monitor? If you're going to have people over and you're going to do movie nights, you don't necessarily want 12 people crowded around a computer screen, which may be perfect for you in a bed, right? Oh, yes, there's somebody chaining up something, chaining up a backhoe. So that's interesting. And it seems to be done, so that's good. So a smaller computer monitor might be fantastic for what you want, even especially if you have it, on a desk or a bed or something close where you can really get the detail out of it and you can really enjoy it. But if you've got 12 people crowded around a 24-inch monitor, I guarantee you it doesn't provide quite the same experience as having a larger screen or a projection with a big image and sitting a little further back so that you have that comfortable viewing angle. Here's and I really detest this, but here's a golden rule. I like the golden rule. I won't get into the rules. The golden rule. Put your arms out like you're going to hug somebody, right? This is your there we go. This is your comfortable field of vision, right? Your screen should occupy this at whatever, your eyes should be able to focus in on this. This is comfortable for you to watch. And this is kind of universal. We used to use this to extremes. For those of you who don't know, I did graphic design for years, and I have done billboards, especially helping people with their formatting to print billboards, because I printed billboards. I printed many billboards. And the catch is, if you were to take a billboard and put dictionary-style text on it, your billboard would look like a flat panel of gray, because you're so far away that you can't read the letters. And while you could pack a lot of info on there, it's not useful. And when you're driving by in a car, you don't have time to read. You've got time for 1 second. And I mean that, 1/1000. If you cannot read it in 1/1000, or maybe a second and a half, if you really want to stretch that, maybe a second and a half. So that's really what it is. You've only got like a second and a half. You've got one block of text and an image. That's it. Ooh, thank you, Nick. Thanks for mentioning that. And Nick brought up a great comment. And actually, hold on, I'm gonna. Oh well, Nick's comment. Hold on, I'm gonna show this because this is great. So, except for iMac, which gives me motion sickness, the screen is too big. And Nick, you're absolutely right. That's a fabulous, fabulous point. I can't stress how great a point that is. If the screen is too big, it takes up too much of your peripheral vision, and it can give you motion sickness. This is why a lot of people have trouble with virtual reality, because it goes on top of your head and it takes up your entire field of vision, including your peripheral. So this is one of the tricks that you have to know, is you have to climatize to it. And I've done a lot of virtual reality early on, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it was really rough at the time, but I got to try it out then, and it was really, really neat. And I've tried it since, But yeah, you're right. It makes a lot of people sick. So, right. So, yeah. So there's a lot of people who are like, nope, no VR for me. We haven't gotten to the point where it's fluid enough yet. We haven't gotten to the point where the optics allow your eyes to work naturally. So that is a fantastic point. I have a question from Sabrina. Do you offer counseling for graphics? Yes, I do. Absolutely. Feel free to, you see the email right over here. Feel free to contact me. And or Sabrina in particular, you know how to reach me, so go ahead, just send me a text. For those of you who know me, so send me a text. If you want questions about graphics and that, yes, please send me an email. I'd love to talk graphics. Guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I want to thank you for tuning in, but remember that the hug, right? This is your comfortable viewing. Whether you want something very personal, a smaller monitor, closer in, or if you want something much further for more people, that more people can watch it and have their optimal experience, that's the idea. All right, guys, VR with the cell phones near the eyes, are they bad? That is a fantastic question. Okay, so I will answer this before I go. VR with cell phones near the eyes, are they bad? There are blocks that you can get that you put your cell phone in. Is it bad? No, it isn't. The cell phone screens are such high definition screens that they work. But again, because it's taking up so much of your vision and it's blocking out your peripheral, extended use might give you a little bit of malaise. You might not feel fantastic. So try it. Find your limits. Work within your moderate for yourself and figure out what works for you. That's the best advice I can give you in terms of that. And really, try it out. I have a couple of them, and they're a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun watching 3D movies like that. But yeah, so that is that. Guys, I'm going to leave you off with that. If you guys want, you notice that the email is coaching@rstrother.com. The website rstrother.com is finally up and the way I like it. I'm very happy with how it is. Yeah, there'll still be a couple of tweaks, but nothing major. Please check it out. Let me know what you think. I'd love your comments. I'd love your questions and comments. I love feedback. I love knowing what you guys like, what you don't. And, you know, obviously, I'm trying to help you guys, so that I want to make sure that it's good for you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow at 6:45 for Not Technically Perfect. Not Technically Perfect. There we go. Thanks, guys.